if you have nothing to do than browsing YouTube. Here is Kate B. Welcome to my channel. Welcome, viewers. I'm all alone here on Saturday night, and you would ask, how did it happen? You have family, you live with your loved ones. What happened? Okay, guess what happened? My family went to a soccer game. Season is opening. I have my son in town, my stepson in town, big brother for my daughters. They were so excited to see him. So they want to spend some quality time with the big brother. Of course, they don't need their mom, they're big enough. And they went to a soccer game. How do you like that? So I'm here all alone, taking it easy. I've been doing like laundry all day, like maybe 7 baskets of laundry, but you don't want to hear about the laundry, right? Okay. So I'm here, Kate B. How can you hear me? I have 2 viewers. Welcome. Today we're gonna do makeup. It's gonna be a makeup tutorial for the beginners who is afraid of makeup but wants to try. I put makeup every day religiously going to work because my face isn't perfect. I'm aging. Hopefully I'm aging gracefully, but you know, there are some filters on the phone, I think, so don't trust this picture. I do have wrinkles. I do have crow's feet. It's been 6 months from my Botox, from my last Botox treatment. So it's been in August, I believe, beginning of August. So I made an appointment. So next week I'm going for my forehead, for my 11s, for my, like, I want to show it here, so next time we're gonna do comparison. Okay, so I'm gonna do here and here and here for my 11s and for my forehead. That's gonna happen next week. Okay, so today I'm gonna do a makeup tutorial. Well, I'm not a professional, obviously. I'm just amateur who started to do makeup after 40, because before 40, well, I started to use my foundation around maybe 32. I haven't used my foundation until 30, and everybody would ask me how old I am. And when I was 32, nobody would tell me I'm 32. Everybody would think I'm like 21, but it worked for me. I was very happy to hear that. So to tell you the truth, where I'm coming from, we didn't have very good selection of makeup. Maybe we did, like last 10 years when I lived back home, maybe from when I was 20 to 30, we started to get good makeup, but it was pretty expensive. So I didn't care much about foundation. I use just powder. I use like compact powder. For some reason, you know, I like powder. And my face was moisturized enough to handle just the, you know, a little bit of powder, pressed powder. And I didn't use foundation. So since I came here, you know how life in the United States is, like you're up at 5:30 or 6, you work, you go to school, you're so busy, you like back in the day when I got here, it was work, school, nonstop. So I was living, hi Eve, welcome to my live stream. We're gonna do makeup tutorial. So life was really busy at 30, really busy. I went to school full time, I worked full time. So in the morning when I got up, I didn't do anything. So I didn't wear foundation until I was like probably married, 32 with a kid on the way. That's when I started to use like full-blown makeup. And I went with the store-bought, I went with the like pharmacy bought makeup. I didn't do anything fancy. Lenka Kosh, hi, welcome Lenka. Nice to see you. Welcome to Kate B channel. We're gonna do makeup on Saturday night. My kids and husband are away on the soccer game, so they left me alone, and it's time to be just chilling, just doing my thing. YouTube is my thing now. It's my hobby. So I didn't use makeup heavily, but when I settled down, I guess around 32, 33, I started to use foundation, and I use Clinique products. They were reasonably priced. They didn't give me any allergies. They didn't give me any outbreaks. So I used makeup very moderately. I only used a little bit of foundation. I'm giving you a history of makeup use. Then I'm going to start applying makeup. And then I'm going to tell you fun stories about heartbreak when I was 18, about my first boyfriend. So you know this very famous YouTuber Bailey Sarian, when she puts makeup and she tells like criminal stories. I'm trying to do that genre. I'm trying to put makeup and tell some stories from my personal life, and hope you're gonna like it. Lenka and Eve, can you hear me well? I have 24 viewers. So a history of me and makeup. So I didn't use makeup until 32. From 32 to about 40, I used it very moderately. Like I didn't feel like using a lot of makeup. I didn't feel like using highlighter. I didn't feel like using concealer. I just used basic foundation, very light one. I used the mascara. I used a little bit of blush, and of course I used lipstick. And my motto is, if you don't have makeup, just make sure you have a lipstick in your pocket, in your car, in your purse, anywhere you go. Just have an extra lipstick around, because even if you apply lipstick, your mood go instantly up like that. For me, lipstick is a little magic that can pick me up on a rainy day, that can pick me up on a blue day. So even if it's a like lip moisturizer, even if you like balm, if you like a lip plumper, whatever you have, just carry it around with you. Even if you're going on a jog, like you think I'm going on a jog now, yeah, I just wanted to feel comfortable today. I'm wearing this sporty outfit. So just like being a woman, it takes a second to apply lipstick and feel 100 times better than you felt before the lipstick. That's a magic for me. So I always have lipsticks all over the place, and I don't go anywhere without my lipstick. So after 30, let's say after like 38, 39, of course, I don't use much makeup. Like I use very basic moisturizers. I use very basic plumping cream for the night or mask. But my main motto is how you feel is gonna be on your face. My main motto is sleep well, eat well, exercise, feel good, minimize the stress, and then you don't need much makeup. But I still use makeup every day now. So at 40, I decided to go before my big 40th birthday, I decided to go check out Sephora. Guess what? My daughter is 14 and she's shopping at Sephora and Ulta. This girl starts shopping at Sephora and Ulta really early these days. But I went to Sephora first time before my 40th birthday. And I said, I'm gonna splurge. I'm gonna buy stuff like a big girl. Since I was turning 40, I said, I'm gonna go to Sephora at 40. So I go to Sephora before 40 and I get so overwhelmed. I have no clue what to buy. I kind of heard about highlighter. I kind of heard about concealer. I kind of looked up some videos about the contouring. I have no clue until this day. I have no clue how to apply eyeshadow, but I do apply it. I use highlighter and sheet. I just apply it to open my eyes a little more. I never used the pencil. Like the most I used a little bit of like powder on my brows. I never used the pencil, so I bought a pencil. So that trip was $300, people. Yes. And I thought, well, I'm turning 40. I need big girls makeup. It shouldn't be from the grocery store, like whatever, Target or just basic, pharmacy store. I decided to go big. I went to Sephora and I started to look up brand names and I started to see what makeup I'd like to buy when I was 40. So $300 later, I'm into makeup, very much so. And I don't buy too much of products. I'm a person, I don't like to store products, but since they changed the formula for my Lancome foundation, I went crazy and I bought like 4 or 5 different foundations just because I couldn't find the correct tone. And I'm still like a little bitter about them changing the formula, But you know, we always say, first world problems. Who cares about your foundation? As long as you doing your job correctly, as long as you show up at work, who cares about the tone of your foundation? Ask me. It's all in my head. But I'm religiously putting my everyday makeup in the morning. Like 6:30, get up. Like my morning routine takes me an hour, like with everything. And makeup probably takes 15 minutes now. So my everyday makeup takes 15 minutes. When I go out with my husband on a date, when I'm on vacation, when I'm going on vacation, when I'm having a little more time in the morning, when it's not every day, when it's not going to work, I can spend 30 to 45 minutes on my makeup. From 30 to 45 minutes on my makeup. But probably not more than 45 minutes. Today I'm not going to hold you for 45 minutes. It's getting late. Thank you, my viewers. I have 14 viewers. So, yeah, I'm obsessed with Lancome. I'm obsessed with Lancome. And this is my go-to. So, I have, you wouldn't believe that, I have like 5 different shades of Lancome. Yeah, do I have 5? Yeah. I have 4 and the 5th is somewhere. But anyways, I have 5 different shades of Lancome. I'm still not super duper happy. This is the old formula and it's like just a tiny bit left, and this is my favorite. So when it's like a special occasion, I keep this old formula tiny bit just because I love that color a lot. I also love Dior Forever, and my tone is 2N. It's very light, neutral. But this one is pretty thick, so I'm only using it for the evenings. You know, when I go out in the evening, when I go to a party, this is a little more heavy stuff. So I don't use it every morning to go to work. It's just a party makeup. And last time when I went to Sephora, I wanted to try something different for change. Yeah, I'm obsessed with foundations. I probably spent $200 easily on foundations, but yeah, whatever. I need to find my tone. So this is HD Makeup Forever HD Skin. I don't like it. I used it. I probably use it up like half of a bottle, but it's not my cup of tea. It's very sticky. It's a little cakey at the end of the day. So I don't know why at first, like in the morning it looks okay, it feels okay, but like half of the day it starts to look cakey and it's too sticky on my face. So I like it once in a while, and it's not a bad tone. It's a little, I think it's a little pinkish undertone. I bought 1RO2, whatever it is. Yeah, 1RO2. Okay. So today, thank you for sticking with me. I have 2 viewers. Today I'm going to show you the basic makeup. Very basic makeup. I'm going to use Lancome 130C with a little pinkish cold undertone, 130C. It's a new formula. My old formula was 130N. So that's why I wanted to match, but they didn't match. So I'm going to use 130C today, and I'm going to apply it with my Sephora foundation brush. Yeah, my daughter got a little present for her beautiful friend, for her beautiful cousin. She got new Sephora set of brushes, and she gave me the foundation one because my daughter is 14 and she's not allowed to use foundation at 14. We have a talk about it, and I explained to her that I don't want her to start early with makeup, so I don't want her pores to close, and she has nothing to do with foundation. But me at 47, I will use foundation. And before this video, I moisturized my face already. I put some serum, I moisturize it, and like the new Lancome Tentadol, it's liquidy, so you need more. So if you buy, I don't know how long the bottle lasts me, but since I bought like a lot of different colors and I keep using different colors, it still lasts. But like, look how liquidy it is. So it's pretty liquid. I don't know how you see. I kind of feel like it says 130C, but today my face is a little more red. So when I'm applying the foundation, my face becomes a little bit more yellowish, like peachy color, which is okay. I normally like my makeup to be neutral, so it kind of blends in with my whiter spots and my pink spots. But that's why I bought a lot of them, and I'm experimenting with the best color I like. And I noticed sometimes it's your mood. Sometimes you think that foundation looks a little bit grayish, but the next day you apply it and it's not grayish. So I think it's also your mood. It's also if your skin is a little dry once in a while, or you were exposed to the sun. Last weekend I was exposed to the sun. I went to Sarasota to the beach. But anyway, so I'm applying foundation. And again, I started to use makeup heavily at 30, well, not heavily, moderately at 32. And by 40, starting at 40, I started to use makeup full swing. Like, I started to watch some videos to get ideas. I have 2 viewers. Thank you for sticking with me. Okay. So I'm going to tell you the story. So it's not boring application of my makeup. It's a story. Uh-oh, what happened here? It's interesting. When I look on the phone, I see I have like the mustache. When I look in the mirror, because I'm a little further from the mirror, I'm a little too far. I don't exactly see imperfections. So in the phone camera, I see imperfections a little better than in the mirror. Even the mirror has like a LED lighting. So, and if you want every day to wake up and like yourself in the mirror, I swear you need to buy the mirror with LED, because every morning when I look at myself, I'm not scared. When I look at myself at work in the work bathroom without like LED lights in a regular mirror, I get scared. I'm like, who's that lady? Who's that woman? But at home, I look pretty in my mirror. And I always thought, why is that? Because I've been staying in the hotels a lot, and like at home, I feel like I don't look good, but in the hotel's mirror, I looked so good. And my husband said, maybe because you're relaxed, you're on vacation, your face muscles are relaxed. I said, no, it's something must be with the lighting. Then later on, I realized, of course, the mirrors don't have filters, but it has good lighting, and you like yourself in the LED mirror. So make sure you buy yourself. Yeah, let me show you the mirror. Look at this gorgeous, beautiful mirror with LED around. Okay, so foundation. I forgot to tell you, before you start your makeup, and again, I try to put everyday makeup because I'm talking, because I get distracted, because I'm, I'm gonna tell you a story, blah, blah, blah. It's not gonna take me 25 minutes for my daily makeup, but in the mornings, because I'm in a rush and I'm focused, I swear it takes me 15 to 25 minutes to apply my makeup. I swear, because I have to leave the house at 8 and I get up at 6:30, so I don't have a lot of time in the morning for the makeup. Okay, what I'm trying to do, I forgot, before you start the makeup, put any kind of lip moisturizer while you're applying the makeup. The moisturizer will work wonders on your lip. So before you start your foundation, just put moisturizer. And again, I'm talking a lot, that's why my lips getting a little more dry. So it's fun to put moisturizer during the live stream too, because you know, my mouth gets a little bit more dry while talking, and I don't want my lips to look cracked or not very good moisturized. Okay, so I like to apply it on the on my face first. And then at the end, see, I had like 3 pumps and they're all gone. I probably had 4. So I need to use, I use a lot of foundation because I'm a big girl. You can see it from, that's the one. That's the one, that the old formula. See how much lighter it is? Oh my gosh, why I'm doing that? Oh, I love that foundation. I grabbed the wrong bottle. So, see how white it is? Okay, hate wasting it. Okay, I'm gonna work it in. Yeah, don't do that. Apply the same foundation, but since it's very thin and buildable, I'm gonna get the correct one. And I'm gonna put the correct one on my forehead. О, как хорошо. Такой массаж лица. It's like a massage. I speak Russian. Anyways, I decided to do my channel in English because it's more coverage all over the world. And I want to express myself. I want to tell you stories. And my philosophy, if I speak in English, maybe people from the past not gonna recognize me and not gonna find my channel. And if I mention somebody from the past in English, they probably not gonna know what I'm talking about, and maybe they're not gonna be upset with me if I'm telling some stories where I have people from my past, whatever. And I can speak both languages, but when I do live stream in Russian, and I said something about my family, my dad was a little upset with me, and I have to be very considerate not to hurt my dad's feelings. So I said something about my mom, about my dad from the past, and about my perception of my childhood. And my dad, I don't know, I put too much probably. Or maybe the makeup blended it on my lips, so it didn't feel good. Anyways, so I decided to speak English so my dad doesn't understand me and my dad doesn't know what I'm talking about, and I don't hurt his feelings because he can't understand what I'm talking about. And today I'm gonna talk about makeup and heartbreaking stories from my youth. He doesn't need to know my heartbreak stories. My dad doesn't need to know how many boyfriends I had, right? I want him to have peace of mind because it's been so many years ago, but you know how old people are. You say something and then they don't like it and they get upset with you. So I don't want to get my dad upset. Anyways, the story from the past. When I was 18, story about my very first boyfriend. Okay, what do you think? How this foundation looks like? I blended it in a little more. Do you like how it looks now? Yeah, I think it looks good. Okay, so let me explain to you how that worked. When I was in 11th grade, I graduated from the high school and I went to live with my aunt and go to like something like community college for a 1-year degree, for 1 year like profession or something. And like it was like a technical college, so I went to be a cashier, and I lived with my aunt, and I had 2 cousins, male cousins. One cousin was 2 years old, another cousin was 4 years older, and they were overprotective of me. They wouldn't allow me to date anybody. And again, I was like 17 right out at 1993. I went to live with my aunt, and my cousins introduced me to their friends, but I was off limits for the boys. I don't know why did they have to listen to them, but because, you know, I lived in my aunt's house, and my aunt wanted me to be safe, not to get in trouble, not to fool around with the boys, and not to get pregnant. She was, she was very probably responsible. So she told her sons that to keep an eye on me, and to keep an eye on me, it means like I wasn't allowed to date. So the first year in the community college, when I got my technical degree as cashier, yeah, the cashier, I didn't have any boyfriends. And I kind of had crush on some guys, on my cousin's friends, but you know, I felt like I wasn't very attractive. I had a lot of insecurities, so I didn't have boyfriends until I was 18. So 18, my first year in college, my first year in big girls college, like university, 5-year university, from 94 to 99. I graduated in 99, so it wasn't, yeah, it was full 5 years, pretty much. So first year of college, first year of university, we started to go to discotheque. Saturdays and Sundays. One of the universities had a private discotheque. So it means like somebody rented a big hall, and they would ask the DJ, put the music, put the equipment, and people would come from all other universities and colleges just to that one place because it was a popular place to go to the discotheque. So me and my friends from school, from college, of course I met new girls. I haven't heard any of my high school friends going to the same college as I did. So I had to make new friends. And of course I was very social at 18. I was always very social. I could deal with any crowd, you know. I wasn't like super cool. I was a little bit nerdy. I didn't use a lot of makeup, and again, I was a little bit overweight. Well, back in the day, you considered overweight if you anything more than 50 kilos, and 50 kilos is probably like 102 pounds, maybe like 110 pounds. So if you're heavier than 110 pounds, you considered overweight. So back in the day, I was overweight. My jeans were size 28, right? 27. But I was still considered overweight. So after the foundation, my face looks really pale. So I don't like the pale. So I'm gonna put, and I forgot, we're doing the daily makeup, so it's not gonna be too heavy. So I'm not gonna do contouring. So look, I'm using this Hourglass. I bought a small one because I really like how gold and this like cool pink blend in. So gold and cool pink blend in, and I love this cool pink. I think it gives me a little, I don't know why, like I have peach. See, I have peachy, more summery blush, but I use peachy blush more in the summer. And for some reason lately I love this pinky gold blush. And the brush I use for the blush is a little bit like angled. Yep, you can see. And this way, when I watch tutorial for some other people, they would tell you when you apply your blush, try to go upwards. This way, you kind of shaping up your cheek. You kind of shaping it up, and you kind of lift the look. See how I'm applying it? I'm applying it with this angled, and I'm kind of like applying it softly, aiming up, from down to up. And this kind of like gives me a motion, little motion of lifting up my cheek. And this way the red, like the pink blush spreads out in the correct place where like visually kind of like lifts up your face. And I think it's even give you like a little thinning effect, thinning. Okay, so when I was 18 and I started college and I started to go out, my parents had a curfew. I lived with my parents, and girls lived in the dorm. They didn't have any curfew. They can go home at midnight, after midnight, or like 2 in the morning. Nobody cared. But because I lived with my parents had a curfew. So I was 18, mind you, you know, my parents were big authority. I lived in their house. I have to abide by the rules of the house. You know, they were very strict. They didn't want me to get married early. They didn't want me to have a kid without being married. They didn't want me to fool around with boys and get pregnant because, you know, things were rough back in the day. We didn't have access to condoms easily. We didn't have access to birth control pills easily. You know, like everything was expensive. Everything was a hassle. And, you know, things happened. A lot of accidents happened when young girls got pregnant and their life were ruined early, and they would be pregnant without being married, and poor parents, you know, would raise the kid helping the girl. So I was the youngest in the family, so my mom was overprotective of me, so she kind of didn't allow me to date. Well, she kind of didn't encourage me to date, but when the time came to date, she couldn't, you know, like she couldn't physically protect me from dating. And when I started to date, she was kind of like okay with that, but I wasn't allowed to spend the night anywhere. So, and mind you, it's 18. There were no freedoms that kids have here at 18. You don't drive, you use public transportation. So, see, the blush. How do you like the blush? And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna do my, okay, because it's like everyday makeup, you see, I already opened my eyes a little bit, applying this foundation on the like top lids. But if you're tired and you want to open your eyes a little more, okay, I use the highlighter brush. I use the highlighter from the Anastasia Beverly Hills. And if you open your eyes a little more, you just apply a little highlighter on the under your brows. Look. Yep, you don't want to have droopy eyes, so I'm gonna open them up a little bit, and that's just a little tad bit of highlighter on the top of my eyelid, and it's right under my brows. Okay, see? And usually when I go to work every morning, I don't even apply highlighter, so no more highlighter, just to open up my eyes. Okay, so 18. We started to go first year of college. We started in September. So in September, we started to go to discotheque on Saturdays. You know, on Sundays, we were not allowed to go. Maybe we would go Friday night and Saturday night because Sunday night is a school night. So nobody allows you. My mom wouldn't allow me to go on Sunday night because you have to be ready. Next day, have to be ready for school. And that's it. That's my daily makeup. So after I put the makeup, I'm gonna still continue telling you a story. And my last step for my makeup, before my last step, I use the base for my lashes and the mascara. And again, that's how I go to work every day. It's a little bit, but it makes such a difference. It makes me feel so good and fresh. It's my routine. It's, you know, it's nothing heavy, just a very thin layer of foundation, and it makes me feel so much better about my face and about like my appearance. Like I'm thinking if I show up in the office, nobody gonna freak out. I'm gonna look decent. I'm gonna look fresh, like not like spending all night drinking and tossing and turning. And it's all about your sleep. Last night, I should tell you, I have a relative. I have a relative from the north of Moldova, and they send us homemade cognac made from apricots. It's not like cognac, it's between cognac and moonshine. It's like probably 45 degrees because we burned it and it burns. Oh my gosh. Never drink heavy liquor. Never ever drink heavy liquor. But last night I had 50 grams of that what you call it, cognac, of that apricot cognac. It was amazing. It was my sleeping pill. Guys, I slept 9 hours straight. I don't remember, I probably had like a super deep sleep because I woke up at 8:30. I never wake up at 8:30 on the weekends. You know, I have an alarm clock in my head that wakes me up at 6:35 right before my alarm goes on. And even on Saturdays and Sundays when I want to sleep in, that alarm in my head pops up and I wake up before the alarm. And on Saturdays, I usually wake up 6:30 and I want to lay down, and because I'm cranky, I want to sleep in on Saturdays. But today, after that apricot cognac, you know, Tanya, my relative, her husband, Zhenya, oh my gosh. This product is the best. And my husband said, now you can drink it a little bit when you can't sleep. For some reason, it was like a medication. It put me in a such good sleep. And I felt this morning, I felt rested. I woke up at 8:30 and I'm like, wow, I slept 9 hours. And you could tell it in my face, I didn't have lots of black, eyes underneath my, I didn't have like big black thingies like panda. So I don't know. I don't drink alcohol often. I only drink once a week on the weekend or when we're traveling. I love to drink my dry brut, like very, very dry, the best brut champagne. And I don't drink heavy liquor. Once in a while, I drink my Bloody Mary. My drink of choice is Bloody Mary with like very good vodka. But this apricot moonshine, or I call it apricot cognac, it was to die for. So now I know if I feel cranky, I'm gonna just have a little bit, like maybe 50, maybe like an ounce. You're even good with an ounce. Ounce is like 33 grams or whatever. Take an ounce. Maybe it wasn't an ounce. Yeah, it was about an ounce. It wasn't 50 grams. Ounce. It wasn't ounce and a half. It was an ounce. 1 ounce. So I took 1 ounce of the drink. Oh my gosh, the best sleeping pill. This morning, I was rested. My head was crystal. Nothing hurts. I'm like, wow, how do they make it? I need to go visit them and I need to bring more of this special drink. That was the best. So if my relative watches me, I know sometimes she watches my video. Tanyusha, foarte bine, abricoasă, whatever it was, liqueur. Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. Thank you. Foarte bine, foarte bine. Gustos. Am băut cu plăcere, foarte bine. Anyways, I was speaking Romanian. Okay, so it wasn't, okay, 36 minutes. And again, it would take me from 15 to 25 minutes to do that in the morning, because I don't do blah, blah, blah in the morning. I don't do live stream. So this is the base. So this is from Lancome. And for Lancome, my favorite is Lancome Definicils, because I don't like the volume for my, I have my own volume, but I like the length. So for my eyelashes, I only like the length, and I kind of like to apply the base, because the base gives me even more length for my lashes, for my eyelashes. And if you're first time on my channel, welcome, welcome. I appreciate every viewer, and you can always talk to me. You can always drop a line, tell me where you're from. Okay, see the base is white, and my see, my mascara is almost dry. But what I'm doing, I'm applying it to the edges first, and then I go. Like I'm applying to the edges first, and then I go like from bottom up, and I work it from bottom up, from the root of the lash up. And don't mind, it might look messy, but I have a trick to straighten it up. I don't like when my lashes stick together, so the next step will be very weird trick I learned from my best friends in high school, from her mom, and I'm using it until this day. But your hands have to be very stable to do that, so you don't poke your eye. Okay, I see a little better when I look up there for my eyelashes. Oh wow, today my eyelashes is way too long. So what I do next, I'm using this needle, this long needle from the syringe. I don't know, how did they get the needle? How did they get the syringe? It was brand new syringe, so. Okay, and I go there and I'm gonna separate every lash. But for this, I have to be close to the mirror, so I'm gonna go away for a second and separate my lashes. Oh my goodness gracious, my lashes are gorgeous. Yep, that's what happens when you buy good products in Sephora. You feel great. I mean, I use Maybelline And I use Clinique. Nothing wrong with those. But when you're old, you kind of want to have little better products. Like, when you can't afford to buy good stuff, nothing wrong with the products. They still FDA approved. They still, you still can afford them. But nowadays, I don't store my makeup. Like, I don't store a lot of makeup at the same time. I like to buy things and use them up before I buy new. So this way, like mascara, I probably buy mascara every 3 months. Maybe like, yeah, maybe every 2 or 3 months. Depends. Sometimes it dries out. Yeah, maybe every 2 months, not even 3. Because I put mascara every day, and I like to put my mascara a lot. Like, I don't do just a little bit. I do like a couple of strokes for sure. And I have a trick, how I'm separating. Like, you can see, can you see it? Don't be afraid, I'm not gonna poke my eye. I'm very good at it. Like, I go and I separate every little. Yeah, you can tell how OCD I am. And you have to do it right away after you applied mascara, because mascara dries out and you're not going to be able to separate them. If you get distracted, forget it. The mascara dries out, and this trick is not going to work as well as it works right after you apply the mascara. And see, okay, I have to be a little focused. Sorry, guys. Okay. And see how my mascara got up on here. I messed up a little bit, and it got up on the lid. I have a trick. I have to wait for a little bit when it dries out. And this way, when I use Q-tip, it's not gonna, when it dried out, it's gonna just fall, be brushed off with the Q-tip. So, and if it's wet and I try to do it now, it's gonna be all over the place. So I'm gonna wait. Just see how pretty is my mascara? See how every lash is separated? That's what I like. That's it. That's it. And in the morning, since I'm going to work, I don't need my eyebrows to stand out. So what I'm doing with my eyebrows, I just brush them. Just make them nice and brushed. And again, see, I overdid my mascara, and my mascara got in the creases right here. But I'm gonna use this Q-tip and I'm gonna take it off. See, when it's dry, it didn't stretch all over my eyelid, or it did. Oh boy. Yes, it didn't dry. Okay. So messy. Okay, so story. When I was 18, my mom didn't allow me to date, but the hormones and other people who date, your friends started to date, everybody has boyfriend. You don't feel like, you don't want to be left alone, you don't be like back in the day. If you don't get married at 23, something is wrong with you. But if you date too early, something is wrong with you. So this culture was never good enough. But 18, Elena Khrushchev. Have a nice day. Thank you, Elena. Have a nice day too. Thank you for stopping by. So, at 18, hormones and everything. And again, you want to be accepted. And the girl, like back in the day, I would feel more accepted if I have a boyfriend. So it was time to look for a boyfriend. That's why when we danced with our girlfriends, like we danced and we tried to attract people from other colleges, and sometimes we were successful. Sometimes when you dance in your own circle, some guys will kind of join your circle, they would dance with you, and you kind of like dance and give everybody looks and you flirt. So that's how we met these people. We met people, they were mixed party of boys going to different colleges. Some of them were going to technical university and some of them going to medical school. So we met this probably like 4 or 5 guys who wanted to dance in our circle, and we were like friendly. They didn't seem drunk, they seemed like good guys, you know, handsome, well-dressed, you know, very polite. So they wanted to dance in our circle and we were okay with that. So, and again, we met them, and next weekend we meet them again, and another weekend maybe we don't necessarily talk or drink, but like later on we warmed up with each other. We started to go get drinks, to like what we drink, beer back in the day, or like soda. It wasn't even drinking because we were poor, we were broke. Students were always broke, we didn't have money to drink. Okay, and the last touch for the makeup will be my beautiful Gucci lipstick. And again, lipstick, while I was talking, my lips got moisturized with the moisturizer, so when we apply lipstick, it's gonna be nice and smooth. And I like to go a little over because my lips are super thin and they are very disproportional. So one of my lip is like way too thinner than the other, but I haven't done fillers. Maybe I will start fillers at some point, but not yet. So not yet. I'm still, you know, fixing my little imperfections with the products, with the good makeup products. Okay, and I show you a little trick. You want your lips to look just a tiny bit puffier. You get a little tiny bit of highlighter. You just put it around. Just, you know, probably needed to do it before I applied the lipstick, but anyways, okay, put it like that. So see, a little bit of highlighter, blend it in. Okay, look at my makeup. Everyday morning makeup. 47 minutes. Okay, I'll be here for another 10 minutes, not to be here over an hour. So we met these kids. Oh, well, kids. They were probably like a little older than we were. Maybe we were first year of school. We were freshmen in college, and these guys probably were like sophomores, and some of them were juniors. But anyways, they were a little older, maybe 2 years older. 2 years or 3 years older, who cares? Elena, beautiful natural makeup. I like this. Thank you, Lenочка, thank you. And it's very easy, and for the hot climate of Florida, it's nothing too fancy. It's nothing I'm not gonna sweat. It's nothing gonna get cakey. Very like light touch. You don't put too much. And it's like morning makeup, so I don't use, I only use light foundation for that. And for the evening, I use like a little tad bit thicker, and just a little tad, like a tone will be a little bit warmer and a little bit darker in the evening, but in the morning, that's it. So my mom didn't allow me to date, and I had the curfew at 11. And imagine you don't drive back then, so nobody would worry. Like, at least our parents wouldn't worry about us driving. Like, we couldn't afford taxi. Taxi was way too expensive. So everybody drive public transportation, buses or trolleybuses. Trolleybuses are electric buses, like they attached to the wires. They have like this big poles and attached to the wires. Yes, simple and refresh. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Elenочка. Welcome, Vokrusheva. Elena Vokrusheva. Welcome. And since you don't drive and you use public transportation, it takes you about 25 minutes to get from the house to the discotheque, and then from the discotheque From the disco party, it takes you about like 25 or 30 minutes to get home. So my curfew was at 11. So this way, my parents were like kind of strict. You can come back later than 11. Like people just starting to, you know, to dance at 10, you know, by the time everybody gather, by the time everybody has drinks, nobody starts dancing until 10. And my parents would tell me, yeah, I have to leave at 10:30 to be home at 11. So who wants to dance from 10 to 10:30? You know, everybody just, you know, getting a taste of it. And I had to leave. But we managed. We come around 8:30 and we start dancing 9:30, and maybe by 10:30, 10:45, I would never come at 11. Maybe I come 11:15, you know, like my mom still wait for me, and she sees me at the door. She said, okay, good night, I'm going to bed since you're here. But she would wait for me. And I hated that, you know, if I couldn't, you know, we didn't have cell phones. She couldn't call me. She couldn't know where I am. If something happens, I could call her from the public phone. I think we started to get cell phones in like later, maybe when I was graduating, maybe like around 2000, 2001, people started to get cell phones. But before 2000, we didn't have any cell phones. So she wanted me to be at 11, and of course at 10:30, nobody wants to leave. Everybody's still having a good time, and I had to leave. So with the guys we met, you know, with the guys we met, someone will walk me to the bus stop, and you know, it wasn't a particular guy. I don't even remember who walked me. I would just ask some random person from that company, from that boys, can you please walk me to the bus stop because I have to be home at a certain time. And then from the bus stop, I would go alone home, and I would be so scared to go at night because, you know, one time I got assaulted, you know, but that's a different story. I'll tell you later. I always tell you good stories. I tell you how I was involved in a criminal case. Then I told you how I was betrayed with my girlfriend and my boyfriend. Anyway, now I'm telling you my first, and then later on I'm gonna tell you how I got assaulted. Well, not really assaulted. Like it was an attempt to rob me, but I managed, like somebody like attacked me. It wasn't an attack. It was an attack at like midnight, you know. Somebody wanted to rob and take away my purse and my bags and stuff like that. But that's another story. Today is a heartbreaking story. So I was 18, and again, I had to leave, and somebody walked me, and after the bus stop, I rush. I don't even walk. I rush. Sometimes I sprint. I run home from the bus stop. So when my mom sees me, everything okay, I'm at home. But there was a guy, he was a medical school student, and he was hanging out with these boys from Technical University, with guys, and he also used to hang out with his sister, and his sister was a little older. She was also a student at a medical school. And that was a prestigious university, and, you know, like if you say, oh, you're going to be a doctor, it was like, cool. Even if they paid bribes, even if they didn't learn very well back there, they didn't study, that they paid bribes for exams, and then their parents put them in somewhere in a clinic where they just... So I wouldn't trust the doctors who went to school in late 90s and who went to school early 2000s. Like, I wouldn't trust those doctors my age, because it was, yeah, the system was very corrupted. But anyways, he was a medical student. And first he danced with my friend, and he was friendly with my friend, but he wasn't very tall. I don't know if I should say the name, but, you know, if I tell you wrong name, next time I'm gonna forget, and I'm not gonna remember how I referred to my first boyfriend. So I'm not gonna tell you the name, my first boyfriend. So he wasn't very tall. He was a little taller than I am, and I'm short. I'm like, to tell you the truth, I'm 5'2". So he was probably about 5'4". I don't know, 5'4", maybe. He was about 5'6". But and my friend, she was super tall. She was almost like, I don't know, she was probably like 5'9". So of course he was too short. He was like half head shorter, maybe like the whole head shorter. But nevertheless, he danced with her, like, you know, sometimes there is a you know, slow music, like a romantic instrumental song. When you dance like slow, da 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 da, you hold the guy's shoulder and you hold the hand here and you like dance like that, and it was like very romantic. And you stay there and you only wish that somebody like ask you to dance, and nobody asks you to dance, and you're standing there and you're like, again, you know, like I'm left out. And you see those pairs and couples dancing and you're like thinking to yourself that you're not in demand, and you know, you doubt yourself, you have all this social awkwardness on top of your insecurities. Yes, okay. So and he danced with my friend, but because she was very tall, she was kind of like not interested, you know. She's like, he's like too short. We call it a talent couple, you know, like a talent couple when the lady's like a model and the guy is like short, like a talent. We call it a talent couple. So she said she doesn't have interest, but she said, I don't have interest, but I kind of like him because he's outgoing and he could dance and everything. And I kind of liked like how he danced, because he, like, for a guy, you know, like guys usually are like chill and cool and try to like make moves like that, you know, like chill and big, and you know, they can't usually dance. And this guy, I liked him because he was super outgoing and he could dance like very plastic, you know, and very like outgoing. And he would tell us a story that he would go and visit Romania, the next neighboring country, and Romania was more toward like Western culture, little more exposed to Western culture. And in the bars, like before Soviet Union was broke, they were under influence of Soviet, you know, communist system too. But then they, you know, they killed their whatever, they killed whatever guy early, and they started to lean towards Western society, free Western society, a little earlier than Moldova. And in Romania, they would dance in the bars, and they would dance in the bars like very modern way. And that guy, he told us that he went to Romania very often, and he would learn how to dance there because, you know, more Western music, more like people were more like free and relaxed. We still were like, and I'm talking about 94, like mid 90s. We still were very reserved. Like people wouldn't, like if people dance too much, they would be considered drunk or making fool of themselves or being a clown. So everybody like danced more like chilled, like that, you know. And that guy, I liked him because he was outgoing. He, like, for me, he was like free of judgment, you know. He didn't care, and for me it was very attractive because he danced like you know, like cool. And what I liked about him, that he invited me to dance not only for the slow song, like everybody dance like that, like old people, slow romantic song. He would invite me for energetic song. He would invite me to dance with him on the energetic song. And it was, I really liked that about him, you know. And he would be like, and I would be like, I started to be a little more relaxed too. I was coming out of my shell too. And back then, I want to assure you, we didn't drink and we didn't do anything, you know, to get this mood. We just were in a good mood. We were young, we were free, we wanted to dance. So we didn't use any stimulation. Yeah, we did drink maybe one beer. We could share like a beer between three of us. So, but we didn't drink much. Maybe when we had parties, maybe we had New Year parties, of course we drank more, like birthday parties. But on the regular day out, on the regular disco out, nobody was super drunk. Maybe just, you know. So I really like them. And maybe after 2 or 3 weeks, like dancing together in the circle, he asked my phone number. And I'm like, wow, I was so happy. And I'm like, no way. And I asked this friend, because he kind of gave her attention at first. I asked, can you believe it? He asked, and she said, oh, he asked my number too. Like she started to be like super cool about, like Like he asked her first, so he's like just, you know, not very serious. He asks everybody, whoever says yes, and I'm like, that was very offensive to say, because, you know, I just got my self-esteem boosted by a guy asking my phone number, and all of a sudden my girlfriend, who is like tall and who's not interested in him, just keep telling me like he's asking everybody. But later on, yeah, I kind of agreed that he's asking everybody. But anyway, I was like a little bit offended that she said that he asked her first, but she kind of like said no. And I was like, oh yeah, I gave him my number, nothing wrong. And for some reason, his sister would stop by and talk to me. And it seems like his sister liked me or something. And sometimes they even, like I asked if somebody wants to take me to the bus stop, because I had to leave earlier, obviously, before everybody else. And his sister would go with him and take me to the bus stop, and just, you know, we have like three of us had the conversation. I don't know why would she need to go and supervise him, or just was nosy. It's her little brother with some girl. But anyways, it was a little awkward back then, but then, you know, like the more the merrier. And it's like when you just walk as a couple, somebody can approach and beat you up. Like the crime still happened, the drunk people still were there. There still was a lot of violence on the streets. So if we were three people, two girls and a boy, we kind of like went fast to the bus stop, and then both of them together. Or maybe his sister was worried about him going back alone to the disco after he sees me off on the bus, you know, or something like that. But you know, anyways, he took my number and he started to call me. And that was maybe September, and I started to be so excited that I have a boyfriend. And it was nothing. We just talked on the phone during the week, like, how are you? What's up at school? You know, like random conversations, nothing. Like, he told me where he's from. He wasn't from that city I lived in. He was from a little tiny town south. But I liked him, you know, I liked him, and I probably didn't have like a huge crush on him, but kind of I liked him because it was first time, and it was like what I'm talking, like first time like having a boyfriend who officially wants to, you know, spend time with you on the discotheque, takes you home. And I think at some point he started to take me, I don't remember if he took me home like on the bus and had to go back. Something like that, but maybe not. Maybe he didn't take me home. Like later he would take me home a couple of times, going with me on the bus. But most of the times he'll just put me on the bus and go back to party with probably with other girls, who knows. But back in the day, you know, it was my first kiss, you know, it was my first kiss. And I was, and then we had parties. They invited us over for the barbecue, like in their like little apartment where they lived, and of course there were older guys, and some of my girlfriends from my group made friends with those guys and made boyfriends with those guys too. So it was three of us, and I think two of us met. All three of us, I think, found maybe 2 out of 3. But again, we hang out together no matter like if we were pairs or not pairs. But we would go to hang out with those, you know, guys, and we had good time. Like, we don't go to discotheque only. We were going somewhere else too, like to the cafe, or we would go to their house again for the party and drinking. But it didn't last long. So it lasted probably a couple of months, and then that's the first time. We're almost there. 1 hour. I was planning to be here 1 hour, but we're almost there. So the first time, broken heart. So, you know how you meet the guy and you're 18, you have no clue about the relationship, you never had a relationship. My point was, as long as he calls me every day, and I would go rush home after my school, you know, and I would ask mom, and I worked. I think I worked back then. I made some money. I worked in the kindergarten or somewhere. I worked in the daycare where I teach little kids. Did I work there back then? Yeah, I think so. No, maybe, I don't know where I worked. Maybe I didn't work that. No, that year I didn't work probably. My mom told me the first year in college you have to focus on school or something. I worked later. I worked later. I worked like third year of college. No, I worked like later. Starting second year of college, I started to work as a nanny. But in 94, I'm talking about 94, my first boyfriend in 94 when I was 18, and I didn't work. I didn't have a job because my mom, like first year in college, she wanted me to focus on college, to make sure I read whatever I'm supposed to read and I pass exams and stuff like that. So first, first heartbreak. You know, I thought I'm a big girl and like all these years have passed, like almost, this year is 30 years. 30 years since my first boyfriend. I'm turning 48 in August, so 30 years after my first boyfriend, and I thought, well, I'm gonna talk about it and I'm gonna laugh about it. But when it gets to your memory, you still have this like a little bit of feelings, like a little bit, your heart still a little bit hurts, but not too much, because it was. But you know, back in the day, you sit down and you like space out during the lecture, during the school time, during the class time, you space out and you start to figure out like, oh, does he love me? Is he gonna bring me flowers? Or like, are we gonna spend New Year's Eve together? Like all those things, like how does his last name look next to my name? You know, like you're silly, you're 18, you think, oh, it's your first boyfriend and it's like gonna last forever because like you're in love or something. Oh well. And I think for me, I rushed home because I wanted to get a call. I wanted to get a phone call. Like I rushed home and I would ask my mom, did somebody call? And my mom like, no, who's gonna call? And I'm like, Mom, that is this guy, you know. I wouldn't share much because she would be worried. But then, you know, I wouldn't say I have a boyfriend or it's anything serious because she will be all over nosy in my business. So, but she's still kind of like, when somebody called, she would be like, who is this? I like this guy. He was very polite over the phone or something. She will make a comment. And I didn't like her to discuss anybody who called me. So sometimes she sends me somewhere after school and I say, Mom, I can't leave. And she said, why you can't leave? I say, because I'm waiting for a phone call. And she said, you can't wait for a phone call. What are you talking about? Just go. And she would send me, it's funny because she would send me to, you know, вынести мусор, like to take the trash out. And for this, like, split 2 minutes because we had this trash thingy shooter. We had a trash shooter and we lived on the 7th floor in the apartment building. So it took me probably from my apartment to go to the trash shooter. It took me 2 minutes. But I was so afraid that he's gonna call this 2 minutes that I would take off my phone. You know how the phones back then, they had like a handle that goes on a big apparat, the telephone. So I will take the handle off. So I prefer my line to sound like it was engaged, like my line is busy rather than like my mom picks up or I'm not there. And my mom said, what are you doing? I say, I need to step out. I'm going to take the trash out and I'm going to come back and I would put the phone back on the handle, like the handle back on the phone, because I said, that's the split minute I'll be taking trash out. He's going to call me if I'm not there. If it's busy, it's okay because he's going to call again. But if it's nobody picks up or my mom picks up, I didn't want that. So he would call me and we had fun conversations and he would tell me jokes and stuff. But when we decided, like, of course, we are like that company. We were like three people, three or four girls and like more boys. And they had their own company. So they invited us to spend the New Year's Eve. Back in the day, Christmas wasn't a big deal. We spent New Year's Eve the most. So they invited us to spend New Year's Eve together in the, what is called, gym. There was like a private gym, rented the space in the bottom of the apartment house. It was a huge basement that was turned into the gym. And they kind of like negotiated that they paid them a little bit to use the gym for our New Year's party because we had more people to accommodate and the apartments were too small back then and nobody wanted like a big huge party in the apartment maybe. And we were a bunch of students, probably like 25 or 30 people from all different colleges that go into a party. And the girls will agree, like boys would agree to bring alcohol, and the girls will agree who is bringing what dish. And again, I keep telling that in my every live stream, every time I talk, like we had a good culture of consuming alcohol. Like I was 18 and I was drinking, but I was drinking in moderation. I was drinking like homemade wine, which is not very strong. And we were taught from the very early age to eat a lot. Like if it's a party, you eat a lot, and you don't get alcohol poisoning if you eat a lot. You just eat, and like you're young, you metabolize alcohol with the food and with your like being young and with your metabolism. And if you're not over drinking, if you drink in moderation, you're never gonna get super intoxicated. But again, it was the culture, and we kind of like listened to our parents. And of course there were cases when people still get drunk and alcohol poison and like whatever, get in trouble or do stupid things. But remembering myself and being like very responsible and being scared of my mom, being scared of my mom, like no tomorrow, you know, I should abide by the rules of the house. I could never show up home like super drunk or something. So I kind of behaved, you know, I was a good girl. And that was the first, I think one of the, no, I used to stay in my friend's house like very rarely. We didn't have sleepovers. My mom never allowed me sleepovers. Even at 18, like we didn't have the culture for sleepovers. Only in family's house. Only like when my mom knew someone, like family, like my aunt's. I lived in my aunt's house. Yeah, something like that. But not sleepovers. But this time, because it's a New Year's night, of course I told my mom we're gonna start at 8, like 7:30, and I come home like 7:30 in the morning, because we're gonna party, we're gonna stay until midnight, and later we're gonna dance until probably 2 or 3, and then we're gonna crash there on the floor and the like mats in the gym, and then we're gonna sleep. And you know, it's 25 people, and then everybody, when the trolley buses start running again, trolley buses probably after New Year start running a little later because everybody partying, so they probably start running at 7:30. So I would tell my mom, like, when the trolley buses started to run, I'll come back home, because again, nobody uses taxi. Taxi is too expensive. So we decided what everybody has to cook, and I bring this big pan of big I'm showing castrula. My salad, my beetroot salad. Everybody like a vinaigrette. We call it vinaigrette. My beetroot salad, like winter salad, whatever we always eat. And my mom would say, I remember the day when she would stay there and she would say, oh, you're going to party. You know what happens after those parties? After those parties, babies happen. And I'm like saying that, like, Mom, let me go celebrate with my friends. Just leave me alone. Don't be in my ear. And I'm like, Mom, I love you. I'm going to be okay. You know, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be safe. And she said, yeah, I know. You're staying overnight. That means, you know, after those parties, that's how babies, you know, show up. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably happened to a lot of people like that, but you know, I was smart. I told her I'll be smart, I'll be decent, you know. So I go to the party, and of course we dress up. It's cold outside, you have to walk in like big fat clothes, but when you get there, you like underneath you have all your, you know, fancy party attire. And I remember I was wearing a dress, like literally it was not even a dress, it was like a blouse you're supposed to wear with the leggings, but forget it. I remember that outfit until this day, 30 years later. My friend from where I lived in the like the technical college, where in the town where I lived with my aunt, she gave me that outfit to be in some kind of like, I don't know, it's a different story, but to be on stage and perform something. So she gave me that dress. It was a long blouse. It was like a tunic that it was literally up to here. It only covered up to here, that tunic. I don't have it. Maybe I have a photo somewhere, but it was made in the shape of the like I'm describing it to you. It was made in the shape of the jacket here, and it has buttons all down, all the way down. So it was like a longer blouse, but I wore it as a dress, and I was wearing tights, you know, like light color tights, like nude color tights. So that outfit was very provocative, you know. I don't know, but you know, you're young when you're supposed to wear short dresses like that. I was 18, and you know, I was 50 kilo probably, even if people thought that I was fat. But you know, at 50 kilo, at 100 pounds, at 110 pounds, you're not fat. Believe me, you're not fat, even if other things other people think that you're fat. But anyway, so what happened during the party? He got a little bit drunk, and he kind of like made a bad move. He kind of was like jealous, like, you know. So something happened between me and him like that night, that he said, that's it, you know, I'm breaking up with you. And this is the New Year night. It's a big night for everybody, because like, how you gonna spend, if you spend this night happily, and you like, it's the first time I'm spending that night with a boyfriend. And I don't remember if he was jealous, or he was like, it was some kind of quarrel, and like other people saw us like quarreling. It wasn't a fight, nothing like physical fight or anything. It was like nasty, like argument, bickering, you know, and it was awful. I still remember it. And you know, when you're not drunk and someone is drunk, and it's like you trying to explain yourself, it's awful. And you're 18, it's your first boyfriend. And so I didn't like it, because it looked like, you know, it's like, it's attention, but it's an attention in a bad way. And I remember his sister was calming me down, like taking me to the corner, talking to me. And she said, like, don't pay attention. Sometimes he acts like stupid, like fool. Maybe he'll like a little bit drunk. He's not gonna think like that in the morning. I'm like, no, my night is ruined. Like, it happened right after we celebrated like the New Year's, after like we all, you know, toasted and cheered and ate and danced. So like that night was supposed to mean like how you spend it. If you spend it happy, the whole year will be happy. And all of a sudden he's breaking up with me. But by the end of the night, somebody feels sorry for me. So it's always a happy end after like the dark, after the night comes the morning. So somebody really felt sorry for me that night, and that was my second boyfriend. So even if my heart was broken right there in the moment, and I don't remember if I felt humiliated just because a lot of people saw that, or if it was the first boyfriend, and it always hurts when it's first time. You don't know how to react. You're very mature. You don't have experience, and you're like. So I was upset for many different reasons. Not only because he dumped me. Because he dumped me during like this very big night of the year. He dumped me in front of all these people, you know, I was friends with, and of course my girlfriends, because I was so immature. I wasn't like a number of reasons. When the first heartbreak is the hardest, you know, that's why they make all these love songs. That's why people like express their feelings of sadness and grief in those love songs when they get betrayed or dumped. But the first time is the hardest. And I always think like I'm a late bloomer, and it happened to me at 18. But I was so pure, you know. I was so pure in my 18, and I don't understand when, you know, when you're 14 or 15 or 16 and you already start to have boyfriends. I don't understand how you handle those heartbreaks. I was 18 and I still remember how yucky it was. So I don't believe that the girls at 15, 16 or 14 can handle this kind of like feelings. So that's why I was 18, and again, I was late bloomer. Of course, our kids are exposed to much more these days, and they know much more about everything because they're exposed to the internet. They're exposed to so much more information than we were, and they know about relationship through the movies, through the whatever, through the social life, through the social media, blah, blah, blah. But you know, being a mom, I always want to be there. And even if something happened to my kid, like she's heartbroken and somebody doesn't like her, or she gets for her first boyfriend and she gets, you know, out of the relationship, I want to be there for her. I want to be an understanding mom. I want to, you know, have her shoulder. I want to tell her it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna to comfort her. But back in the day, we didn't have that trustful, like we didn't have that close relationship with the parents. We were so ashamed of everything, and we were so pressured, and our parents were so authoritative. Like my mom was so authoritative that I felt more like scared to tell her anything. I would be like so scared to tell her, like my heart was broken. So next day I come home and this other guy brings me home because he likes me, and he said, oh, I know, it's okay, you're gonna be okay, like I'll be there for you. And I'm like, who's that guy? And he was one of his friends, and he was like, this guy, my first boyfriend, was probably like that. I'm 5'2", and he was probably like just a tad bit, like maybe he was 5'4". He was a short one. But that guy who approached me after the night went wrong, he was like that though. He was 6'2", you know. He would be like that. And it was very flattering to me that he kind of was there for me that night, and he took me home and stuff like that. But I didn't feel anything gonna be serious. But later on, he became my second boyfriend. So the night my heart was broken for the first time, I met the rebound like right away, like right there, you know. So what I'm saying, I'm lucky, you know. If I don't really want my kids to watch my live stream, but if they're mature enough to watch this live stream, you know, I'll be there for you. I'll be there for my girls. Just to, if they go through the heartbreak, they can tell me anything. I would always understand what they're talking about. They can trust me. I'm not going to be harsh on them. I'm going to always comfort them and tell them it's okay. It's okay. Even I was socially awkward, or I didn't like myself, how I looked, and I was like beating myself up for every little thing. I was criticizing myself. You know, like I was all over the place. And even though the night I was dumped, I met the other guy right away. So somebody liked me. And that was my second boyfriend. I hope you like my story. I hope you like my daily makeup routine. So I don't know how those live streams work, because I hope that they are gonna attract a little more people, like more viewers, new subscribers, and like the viewers can ask me questions and I can answer. I wanted to interact a little more with my viewers because I appreciate you guys. Thank you. But I like to tell you stories, and because it kind of like I relive my most precious young years. And even though I wasn't mature back then, I would totally say I was lucky to have all these experiences, because I wasn't traumatized. I still was able to grow up and build healthy relationships and build healthy family. I met my dear husband, the love of my life, my precious husband, which is like winning the big jackpot lottery. I love him so much. So what I'm trying to tell you with all the stories from the past, from the youth, I kind of go back there and I kind of like miss those times, being free, like, like being free, like don't have so many responsibilities besides going to school and like live with your parents and abide by the rules. But we were so young and we didn't appreciate the time, you know. We were so young and we were wrapped up in so many insecurities, and we spent so much thought about thinking about insecurities rather than enjoying life, rather than enjoying every day, enjoying youth, enjoying being free, enjoying being, you know, young and, you know, furious. And so my monologue is about those stories that back in the day might felt like devastating, because but they were all experiences, and at the end of the day they made me who I am, those experiences. Like you learn from one experience, you go to another, and that's how I grew up to be a woman I am now, to be a mother, to be a wife, to be a good, citizen. So thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for listening to my stories. I love you all. Until the second boyfriend. Like next time I'm going to tell you about second boyfriend. I still have to think through if I want to tell you about each relationship. I didn't have many. Don't like I'm saying each relationship like I had hundreds. No, I probably had 3. Yeah. But like in 10 years until I met my hubby. And and stick with me for more stories. Please drop me a line, leave me a comment, share whatever you want to share from your past. Tell me if you like my makeup. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Elena Vakhrusheva. Thank you so much for leaving me a kind comment that you like my makeup, that it's simple and refreshed. Thank you, everybody, for being with me this Saturday night, 1 hour, 25 minutes. Love you all. And when you watch this live stream, watch it on speed 2, like playback speed 2. Bye-bye. Love you all. Have a good rest of your weekend. Bye, Kate B.